What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil 7 gameplay for you. And today I'm going to be talking about something that I wish would return in Resident Evil games and hasn't existed since Resident Evil 7. So, yeah, recently we just had the Resident Evil 7 7th year anniversary. It's amazing how fast time goes. I remember when this game first dropped. I remember all the build up to it, of all those demos, which I love those demos a lot. Just to let you guys know, I think the whole marketing behind 7 was just practical genius, and really, looking at the franchise, what it was before it came out to now, it's definitely, it definitely revitalized the franchise. Whether you like the game or not, you can't deny that. But yeah, not to mention a lot of games have had their anniversary in the month of January. I mean, I guess January is the month of Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 4 OG, Resident Evil 2 and 2 Remake, Revelations 1, 7, there's probably some others I'm just not thinking of at the time. But yeah, January is definitely the month. So I guess Resident Evil 4 Remake didn't get the memo for that one. But all joking aside, yeah, there's a mode in Resident Evil 7 that I really wish would make a return. Now, Resident Evil has been known for having a lot of cool, interesting modes. Obviously, the most famous would be Mercenaries, and I'm not the craziest. I don't have anything against Mercenary mode, but Mercenary mode is not something that's like one of my personal favorites. It's alright, I enjoy it, but not like a lot of other people. But Resident Evil 7 had a lot of interesting modes with its DLC, and I mean, just really weird and unorthodox. Like, I remember the one where you feed Jack Baker. I mean, this, if you didn't know what it was, and I just told you you're feeding Jack Baker in a time limit, you probably think, what? Like, that's just silly. But for some reason, it was really funny, entertaining. Having a messed up version of 21 and stuff, where you're, betting your fingers and stuff like that. Having poor Clancy get tortured in the basement for waves and stuff like that, trying to survive, as well as trying to get out of the bed from Marguerite. But the one I want to talk about is the one I'm playing right now. And to me, it's my most favorite Resident Evil mode, period, of all time, and I wish it would have made a return in every Resident Evil game since then. Unfortunately, it hasn't. For me, the one I'm playing right now, that is EthanMustDie. Now, if you've never played EthanMustDie, or maybe you've struggled to beat it, I actually have a really old video up on my channel from years ago. This is when I was going on another name for the channel. It was called Kate Sif, when it's not what I am now, but I have a video on the channel which I basically do my personal walkthrough of how I would personally do EthanMustDie. And obviously there's no right or wrong way. It's just personal things that I did, try to make it as easy as possible for someone who was struggling. But it'll be in the description below if you do want to check that out. But it is an older video. But nonetheless, I love this mode so much. EthanMustDie was just one of those things I feel like should be in every Resident Evil game, and unfortunately it's only been in this one. But what is it if you've never played it? Basically, you have to start outside of the Baker house. You have to get the keys to get to the greenhouse to fight Marguerite, and you basically got to go through the whole house again. But the enemies, you got to learn how they spawn. You got to watch out for the traps, like on the floor, the tripwire, and you just got to learn how everything plays out. You got turrets. And the cool thing about it is that you have these boxes, as you've seen on the screen, which, they have different star ratings to tell you the quality of the object, and they give you a random thing. You start out with the knife, the pocket knife, but as you go through the game, you get a random, as I said, it's kind of like, it's like a random chest. You don't know what the item's going to be, but you got to be careful, because sometimes they might have bombs in them. If they have a bomb and you hit it, well, good night, Iran, because the hard thing about this game is just the fact that everything basically can kill you in one hit. And by the way, those four-legged things, oh my god, they're the worst part about this whole thing. Not in that sequence, they're easy to take out that guy, but they are I think honestly they're more dangerous and frustrating to deal with than even Marguerite herself, because you do got to fight the boss at the end. But the fun part about it is, even though it is like you just basically die in one hit just about from everything, especially if you're not blocking, the thing that makes it so fun is, as I said, every run is different, because while the enemies may spawn the same way, the weapons and items you got in the boxes are always completely different. You do have a little thing that if you do die, you can go back to where you died. If you make it through the next playthrough, you can get at least one item through a statue that sits on the ground. But basically, every time you play, you don't know what type of items you may get. You may get completely just dicked and get absolutely nothing to, like no type of weapon at all other than a knife you start out with. or you might just get like magnums and the Albert pistol, and just have nothing to be able to. You might have too much firepower just early, and that's where the fun part goes. Not to mention you have the inventory space that you got to be can't afford, because you just can't hold unlimited inventory. And I always believe, like, that's where that whole fun replayability is. You don't know what you're going to get. But if you're doing it for the first time, it's the ultimate trial and error. The whole thing is you're kind of trying to get a little bit further than last time, so you can learn how the enemies spawn, where they come out, what you want to do, how to prepare for it, how to use the traps to your benefit. While they can hurt and kill you instantly, they can also just absolutely take you out and have a sad, because I've had moments where, like, the first box, it's like you'll die and you'll get frustrated, and as soon as you spawn for the next game, the first box you see, you just knife it out of frustration. You don't listen to it because you can hear the bombs through the box. You just knife it out of frustration, it blows up and just gives you more frustration. But yeah, it's an ultimate trial and error. You're trying to push the meter to see how much further you can get, and then you learn a little bit more as you get further, and then you try to apply that knowledge the next time you play. Obviously, the weapons and what you get are different every single time, but that ability to push further and learn what more you got to do, what enemies spawn, where the traps are, is always fun. And that's why I feel like that should have been in just about every single Resident Evil game. Because us Resident Evil fans, we do like a good challenge. We do like something that challenges us and the satisfaction of completing that challenge. So I just always felt like having a mode like this, like, how I always talk about, getting like an item, like an infinite ammo weapon. Like, usually you would complete an S+ run to get like an infinite ammo rocket launcher or something like that. Why not have like a mode like this where you have to complete this mode to get something like that? It'd be fun as hell and make people, really try hard to play. Yeah, it'd be tough, but it wouldn't be satisfying if it was too easy. You want it to be tough. So it's just something that I've personally always thought that, like, should be in a game. It's not impossible. It can be frustrating, but it's a good kind of frustration. And I feel like EthanMustDie, or a variation of it, should return. Just imagine like this mode, but in like Resident Evil 4 Remake. And this is how I know I'm still in depression. I'm still in denial about it. And maybe one day, probably never. But just imagine you had like a Leon Must Die in Resident Evil 4 Remake, and that's how you had to beat that mode to unlock the PRL 412, which I'm still crying about to this day that it wasn't in the remake. But that would definitely be something that, hey, it'd be tough, it'd be frustrating, but it'd be a good type of tough and frustrating. Plus, it's a survival horror game. It's supposed to be tough and frustrating in a lot of elements. It's what keeps you coming back for more and more and more. But I love this mode, guys. I really do. I enjoy this mode, and it's sad I don't hear more people talk about it. I really just enjoy it. Yes, you can die really easily, but you trial and error, you learn a little bit, and then the randomness of the boxes. You're not knowing what you're going to get. Like I said, some days they set me up real good, and some days they just plain out set me up. So, but that is just my opinion, guys. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What is your favorite mode in Resident Evil that you'd like to see be kind of like a common occurrence in terms of every Resident Evil game? I know a lot of people love the Mercenary, and it's not hating on Mercenary. It's just not something I've really absolutely loved. I play it and I enjoy it, but it's just not my personal favorite thing. And are you like me? Are you an EthanMustDie fan? Do you just love this mode and just wish that it would make a return in all the Resident Evil games? Kind of be like that rite of passage. Like, hey, you've done kind of everything else in the game. This is your last thing you got to do to really dominate and complete the game, like, for real, 100%. Like, let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I see you guys back in action. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.